It is official. Antonio Rudiger will be leaving Chelsea when his contract comes to an end in June. The German international had been locked in negotiations with the Blues over new terms, but following Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the ensuing sanctions and enforced sale of the club due to Roman Abramovich's alleged links with the Kremlin, things hit a snag. And now the 29-year-old will leave Stamford Bridge with the world at his feet. Chances are that Rudiger will sign for Real Madrid, and we'll talk about this in more detail. Speaking of Real Madrid, boy, what an amazing night it was at the Etihad a few days ago. Manchester City scored 4 goals in a Champions League semi-final, and even that is not enough to inspire a lot of confidence, since Madrid pegged them back 3 times. On a night where they could have conceded as many as 8 goals, Madrid look forward to the second leg, needing just a couple of unanswered goals to make it through to the final of the competition. PSG definitely need another midfielder in the summer, and it appears that they're going to try their luck with a Dutch international who's been touted for a move away from Barcelona this summer. This might not have made a lot of rounds in social media, but Paul Mitchell, who is the current sporting director of AS Monaco, could be leaving the Principality this summer, and we'll tell you why we need to talk about him. So, you know who we are, and if you want to be part of our family and stay informed about all things football, then make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they are involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. No, AS Monaco are not going to change everything. What was announced at the end of March will probably not happen. It must be said that at that time, the Principality club had just emerged ingloriously from the Europa League, eliminated by Sporting Braga, and was dragging itself to 8th place in Ligue 1 before receiving Paris Saint-Germain. That day, they rolled over the Ile-de-France club and launched a series of 6 consecutive victories. Enough to call into question the information published, in particular that concerning the future of sports director Paul Mitchell. The 40-year-old Englishman, appointed in the summer of 2020, has sometimes been criticised, but it is especially internally that the challenge has been the strongest, in particular through Juan Sartori, the vice president of the club and Robolovlev's son-in-law. The information revealed by the press last March was thus in reality the consequences of internal struggles and the desire of some to convey their vision of the future, a vision that did not match reality. Power games exist as much in Monaco as elsewhere, and the club's big boss, Dmitry Robolovlev, must know how to navigate between the different influences. To date, according to reports, Paul Mitchell is absolutely not in danger. On the contrary, his ties with the Russian owner are stronger than ever. Robolovlev is indeed ready to bet again on big players, and no longer wants to limit himself to trading by investing in precocious talents, who do not always confirm their potential. Paul Mitchell could therefore benefit from broader financial support from the owner, who has full confidence in his skills. Recognised skills in England, where Newcastle appointed the sporting director. Manchester United too. The Red Devils, led by Ralf Rangnick, who will then act behind the scenes after the arrival of Erik ten Hag on the bench, remain interested in Mitchell's arrival. He and Rangnick know and like each other well, and Mitchell would be welcomed with open arms to try and start another winning streak at Old Trafford. He's also hoped for by one of the candidates for the takeover of Chelsea. The opportunities therefore exist for Mitchell, who has not yet made his decision. He feels good in Monaco, where he has succeeded in a good part of his missions by reducing the payroll. It is up to him to decide where he will work next season. Usually calm and discreet, and not really used to publicly showing his mood swings, Frenkie de Jong made a name for himself by displaying his displeasure when he was substituted at the hour mark during the match between Barcelona and Rayo Vallecano. Very quickly, the Blaugrana staff stepped up to make light of the incident. But on the other side of the Pyrenees, this new episode is fueling rumours about the future of the Dutchman. Recruited by Barca in 2019 against €86 million, de Jong thought of taking a step in Catalonia. Unfortunately for him, he arrived at a time when Barca suffered one of their most serious institutional and financial crises. Add to that observers who are quite critical of him, and you get the birth of the first rumours of departure. Last February, the midfielder had this to say about his future. "I'm very happy to be at Barcelona. From a young age I wanted to be here, so this way it's a dream come true. But of course, I would have liked to win more trophies than we have in my first 2 years. I expected more in that sense, let's put it that way. But apart from that, I'm very happy here, and I hope for many more years. But the player has doubts now. While he has always proclaimed his desire to stay in Catalonia, Cadena SER claims that De Jong does not understand that he is often one of the first to have to give up his place on the pitch. Moreover, he's surprised to see so many rumours about his future coming out in the media. Are they trying to send him a message? It is possible, especially since 3 major European players have positioned themselves. While Manchester United have just announced the arrival of Ten Hag for next season, the Dutch tactician has already assured that he wants to have the last word on the transfer window. In this sense, Manchester United would then work to bring in his former protégé. But another club is ready to derail this deal: Bayern Munich. Eager to strengthen their midfield with key recruits to forget a rather half-hearted 2021-22 season, Julian Nagelsmann has asked his bosses to try and sign the former Ajax man, according to Sport. And if Manchester United have convincing arguments, Bayern have those too, since they could simply include Robert Lewandowski, Barca's priority, in the transaction. Finally, another team eager to flesh out a very open decried midfield is also in the ranks: Paris Saint-Germain. The capital club thought it had signed De Jong in 2019 for €75 million before being overtaken by Barca. Will the Rouge et Bleu make up for it 3 years later? One thing is for certain for these 3 courtiers: if an offer close to €80 million arrives, Barca will consider it. The evening could have been much harder. Certainly, as Karim Benzema said, a defeat is never good to take and cannot be considered a good result. But when we see how the match started against City and the number of missed opportunities by the Manchester City players, we can say that the score is rather flattering for Real Madrid, who therefore have all the chances on their side to make a push for the final. And it must be said that on the side of the Spanish capital, people are rather confident. Now we have to win at home. We need supporters like never before, and we're going to do something magical. Win, said the French striker after the match. We have to make a difference at home. Our fans have been key lately, and it won't be different this time again, explained Vinicius Jr., who also counts on Meringue supporters. This is also the case for Carlo Ancelotti, who hopes that the presence of Madrid fans forces the team to play better. Of course, City had loads of chances and could probably have put the game to bed, but they simply didn't take them. And Real Madrid, with all their pedigree and ability to get something out of nothing, should be feeling confident in their chances to make another comeback. This has been a theme for them throughout the knockout phases of the competition, so how can we bet against them for not doing it all over again? Let's be honest, Antonio Rudiger has been a massive player for Chelsea ever since he signed from AS Roma a few years ago. He's been a defensive colossus. It was only under Frank Lampard when he was not used that often. Under Thomas Tuchel, he's become an undisputed starter and has put in a string of great and assured performances at the back. Without the experienced centre-back, the London Giants tend to struggle. His ability to be physical and hassle opponents is what makes the Chelsea defence less porous, so we understand why the Blues faithful are not happy to see him leave. However, both the club and the player tried their best, but as things stand, Chelsea's ownership transfer issues have ensured that they lose their best defender in the summer for nothing. Initially, Rudiger wanted fresh terms, and just when talks were progressing, Russia invaded Ukraine. The British government decided to sanction the Russian owner and even forced him to sell the club. Since then, the Blues have not been able to find a new owner, and while talks have progressed well, it's a little too late. Thomas Tuchel has confirmed that his fellow countryman will be leaving Stamford Bridge in the summer, and chances are that he will sign for Real Madrid, who see him as an ideal partner to Eder Militao in defence. So, to cut a long story short, Chelsea have been dealt a very bad hand by the British government, and maybe some leniency could have been shown.